Good morning, everybody. I am going to introduce you to your book by telling you how to read it. Aha, but you know how to read. You do. But I don't know that you've ever been told how to read a textbook. And so I wanted to take the time to do that for those of you who are interested. So here is where we are going to go. I'm taking you, I hope, I'm taking you over to my my online version of Myers, and I want to talk about this section. You will find this section, if you see, you can find this section. It's Roman numeral 31, XXX, that's 3 tens, and then the little I, that's a 1. So Roman numeral 31 is in the preface. I know that with an online text, it's kind of a pain in the butt to scroll through. So give it a try, and please let us all know what works. So I wanted to talk about your tools for learning, getting the most from this book. Almost every textbook has one of these. Myers is certainly no exception. It is so beautifully written. David Myers is a psychologist who teaches at a university in Michigan. He's known as a kind man. I've never met him. He's a big deal in the world of AP psychology, and he writes a beautiful book. Let's look at tools for learning. Let's look at how to get the most from this book. Each unit is broken down in really easy to read modules. That's how I will assign the work to you, module 1, module 2, etc., etc. And then the unit introduction is a nice read, but certainly not required except for about one unit where it's just so beautifully written that I want you to read it. Introductions of textbook units are really, they're like previews to movies, where they're trying to get you interested. They're trying to let you know what the unit is going to be about. For those of you who prefer to know what you're getting into as you're reading, I do recommend the introduction. The rest of you, if you feel like you need to skip it because time is valuable, I totally understand. I seldom read introductions myself in books unless I'm really, really fascinated by them in textbooks. Review the numbered learning objectives at the beginning of each module is what this little box says. And while that's great advice, I've got to be totally honest with you, I probably wouldn't do it myself. Starting with the next unit that we read, I will make sure that you are provided with the official AP objectives because that's what you need to know. Myers wrote this to fit AP, but it's not a perfect match all the time because Myers also is an individual and he thought, well, this is important and I'm going to make sure I include that even if it's not part of AP, which I do too sometimes in class, just for your information. What you really should do, what I really highly recommend doing, do read the introduction to each module. They're very short, simple, and they give you a good start. Do go ahead and look for the beige key terms. I would recommend that you read the regular portion of the book, right? This part, the random sampling block in this section, random sampling, read everything, sampling bias, keep reading, population, keep reading, random sample, then go over to the beige box after you finish that section and read that definition, and then seek clarification from the juxtaposition of the two, because the in this case, the white part of the page is very conversational. Everything is in context. Myers is going from topic to topic to topic in a cohesive way. The beige is just the vocabulary. So if you want to get a true understanding, my recommendation would be you take the beige, the vocabulary definition, mesh it with what you have just read in the more conversational part of the book, and write your own definition down based on what you got there. Check your understanding with before you move on boxes. Great idea. I gotta confess, I don't think I would actually do that. If you do that, you're a better student than me. So of course you should do it because I was in high school in terms of student, but the truth is it's not going to kill you if you don't do that. Okay. Do make sure, see these beautiful, beautiful. I love data. I love charts and graphs. 1990s. And here we have some real heavier duty science that we will get to. Do make sure that you spend some time with those illustrations. You'll get a lot out of them. The saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, definitely rings true when it comes to illustrations, especially things like this one about how a neuron works, the science of the neuron. And of course, charts and graphs are amazing, amazing things in terms of getting you information. I highly recommend, of these three things that we're looking at, I highly recommend this year that you definitely keep an eye on the AP exam tips. They're really valuable. Myers knows what he's talking about. He's helped to design and grade and create the AP program and the AP test itself. So he knows what he's talking about there when he talks about these AP tips. The FYI is just good trivia. So if you're like me and you like good trivia, that's your box. And then the try this. I really do recommend that you pay a little attention to those this year as well, because there are so many things I can't do in class. And so what try this does is it really kind of pushes you to do a little science experiment on yourself as you're going through the book. The close-ups are good information. I will highlight it if I'm really enthusiastic about you reading it. Obviously, when you get to this one, improve your retention and your grades, you should read that one. It's in Module 2.4. And the reason for that is because it's talking about your grades. So you should, and your memory, you should read that. Here we have another example, thinking critically about. And so what that box is trying to do is trying to take you with the psychology that you're learning about and then apply it to real life key issues that are out there in the world. That's also generally on your own, but it's great for conversation. If you're looking for a good conversation with each other about some of these issues, there it is. The module review comes in most handy, in my opinion, if you, for some reason, don't have time to read the module or you choose not to read the module. I don't recommend doing that. And you just need to get that information in. It also will come in handy before a test. So reading the reviews is a really great way to just reintroduce yourself to that information and help to settle that into your brain a little better. Same thing with the multiple choice and the practice FRQs. We're not even going to talk FRQs until we're done with Unit 2, which we're not doing next. So we've got a little time before we approach the world of the psychology FRQ, which if you've done AP English and AP History, you're going to love the psychology FRQs. And then at the end of each unit, you're going to have very similar things. This is very typical of a textbook. Many students don't make any use of this stuff at all. I highly recommend that you do, because if you do make use of this, you're going to make your job easier in the long run. Do some of these practice questions. Bring them to me. It's fabulous. I did number 4 and I have no clue. What is it? And again, we'll talk about free response later. So that's my introduction to how to read a textbook. Please do give me feedback on this. If this is a useful tool for you all, I do plan to do this for modules as we go through the book. If I'm finding that nobody cares, I'll quit. Okay. That's all I have to say. Stop.